So thank you to everyone for joining us here this morning. I think we still have a few more coming in, so I'll be with us here in the next few minutes. But we're delighted to welcome you to today's webinar, which is all about how to build trust and increase online sales. And this webinar has been brought to you by myself, Orla Cooney. I'm General Manager with Magico, and Neil Baton, who's joining us from Trustpilot. And we also have Paul Heavin from Heavins.ie. Heavins.ie are a shared retailer between the AB Commerce e-commerce platform and the Trustpilot review platform. So Paul will be able to share with you some of his experience of the Trustpilot solution. So if we want to just maybe move on to the next slide there. Just to, I know we have a lot of retailers who are familiar with Magico and AB Commerce, but there is many joining us today who Magico and AB Commerce might be new to you. So just to give you a brief introduction, AB Commerce is very much it's a powerful e-commerce platform, very robust e-commerce platform that enables retailers to get online and grow fast without undertaking a complex custom design and development project. So it's very much a turnkey solution for medium-sized retailers, and typically a lot of our retailers would be multi-outlet retailers as well. And it's an e-commerce solution very much out of the box. So what that means for retailers is they can focus on what you do best, selling your products, safe in the knowledge that we do all of the e-commerce thinking for you, because we're constantly evolving and releasing upgrades to that platform. So the platform itself has best-in-class e-commerce functionality. We host all of our solutions on AWS, a cloud-based scalable hosting platform. We deploy high-end graphic design to the sites, and the platform itself is integrated with approximately 17 of some of the most common EPOS and ERP systems common to the Irish market. In line with that as well, we have a range of more advanced e-commerce plugins tailored, again, kind of for the Irish retailer, and Trustpilot would be one of those. And any one of those can really have a significant uplift in your sales once you implement them. So that's the AB Commerce platform. Magico then is very much the preferred implementation services company for the AB Commerce platform. Our business and our sole focus is e-commerce. That's what we do all day, every day. And we support retailers through the e-commerce onboarding process on AB Commerce. So we provide them with all of the help, guidance, support, and training pre-go live and also post-go live to help them achieve success. Our approach is very much get retailers online fast and help you grow fast. So it's not a build it and off you go approach. It's very much a shared success model with ourselves. So as I said, we like to get retailers online quite quickly, usually an 8-week onboarding process. Our initial focus then is to initiate the growth strategy. So often we'll get retailers aware of all of the digital marketing, all of the elements of the digital marketing wheel through our Kickstart digital marketing training program. We have a whole host of digital marketing training programs, or we'll align you with an external company that will set up, configure, and execute paid digital marketing activities to help you promote the visibility of your online store, because that's the very first hurdle you're going to need to get over to actually get to drive success. And from there, we support retailers on a path to ensuring you launch and grow to that first target of 250K in average online revenue, and then on to long-term growth of $1 million plus, and we'd have many retailers at that level. One of the ways that we help retailers to sustain that long-term growth is by helping them to optimize their online store with a range of advanced e-commerce plugins already integrated on the AB Commerce platform, ready to switch on when you reach that capacity where it makes sense. And Trustpilot will be one of those advanced e-commerce plugins. Before the restrictions of COVID, we host regular in-person AB Commerce retailer events where our retailers will come together, and we have a day of information sharing and shared learnings between all of our retailers. And Trustpilot, I must say, is always one of those service providers which comes up time and time again. It's one of those advanced e-commerce plugins that retailers once they implement it on their site, they would always say that they wouldn't be without it. So with that in mind, we're delighted to support the webinar today so that Neil from Trustpilot, Neil Baton, can share with you some of the specific information about the Trustpilot product itself. And we're going to bring Paul Heavin on board here as well. Paul is a very ambitious and a successful retailer on the AB Commerce platform. He's been using Trustpilot for about the last 12 months. And he can share with you his experience of Trustpilot on their site. So we'll have a quick chat with Paul there now in a few minutes. But what we have here on the slide, just before we do that, is an example of maybe some of the ways that we're featuring Trustpilot on the Heavins.ie site in particular. So as I said, Trustpilot is already integrated on the AB Commerce platform. If you want to switch this on, it's just a matter of setting up with the guys, Neil and the team, to get your business ID. You give us the automatic feedback service email. We plug all of that in, and you can automatically then collect your reviews from customers, poll customers for those reviews. And once you have enough reviews established and established a strong rating, we can support you to configure your Trustpilot rating for display in various areas across your online store. So you can see here on the screen, there's a combination of different areas where you can display Trustpilot graphics and trust boxes, which Neil will probably discuss with you in a little while. You'll see where they're on the site-wide banner, which is just underneath your main navigation. They're in the footer, right down there in the bottom right. You can see we can display them underneath the add to basket there, which is the graphic in the middle. We can also display the product reviews on the product detail page. Remember, you can poll customers for service reviews and product reviews. And we can display the trust box to the right of the view basket page as well. And there's other Trustpilot widgets that we can incorporate into your homepage if you have a live feed of lots of 4- and 5-star reviews that you want to shout about. So Paul, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Well,
I think it's always really valuable to have a retailer on board, because we can talk about how the integration works and Neil can talk about Trustpilot itself and the features of it. But it's great to kind of get input from a retailer who's actually used it in terms of what the value it has been. So as I said, you're using Trustpilot on Heavins.ie for probably about the last 12 months or so. And if I was to ask you, what made you consider integrating a review platform like Trustpilot onto the online store in the first place?
thanks. Well, we had a good reputation. We're based in Westmeath in the Midlands, and we had a good reputation locally for customer service. And so we had the website about 6 or 7 months, and it was going well. And we were trying to figure out how we're going to get this local customer service reputation, how we're going to transfer that to online. So, like, how we're going to bridge that trust gap between our website and our new customers. So we went and searched for that, and we came across Trustpilot.
And was there any reason why you picked Trustpilot as opposed to other platforms?
Well, I suppose I'm all for simple things. Trust is in the name, so that was a big plus anyway. But it's the market leader, and when you want to grow your website, you need the best people around you. So here's the Trustpilot and Magico, of course, but it was already integrated with Magico, which is very handy. And as I said, you'd see it everywhere. You see it on the TV ads. You see it every time you go into Google searching for, and people know it and they trust it, of course.
Yeah, the brand, the growth of the brand has been very strong, and it's probably one of those review platforms that is so well known now amongst consumers. So yeah, that's great. And do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about how you are using the platform? So what's your process for polling the customers and how you're displaying it? So we were looking at some of the display elements there on your site. So I assume as soon as your product is dispatched, we're automatically polling your customers then for the actual reviews.
Yeah, so we send out the order. We try and get the order out as quick as we can, and then we have it set at a week after the order to get an email asking how would they rate us. So if they answer that review, that's fine. If they don't answer it, to get one reminder email after that in case they hadn't time or the email came in at the wrong time. to reviews again. Also, you get the odd, because we do kitchens and things as well, you get the odd organic review as well that people just manually click on to Trustpilot website and review Heavins. But as you can see from the slides there, we display it on the header and the footer of the page, the site-wide banner. And one of the, I suppose my favorite ones is the trust box widget displayed at the basket. So if the customer picks the products to lie on your website, they don't know anything about Heavins, they get as far as the basket and they're sitting on the fence. They're wondering, will I go ahead with this now? Will I go looking somewhere else? And your score, whatever it is, 4.9 or over 2,000 reviews, 5-star reviews, it's sitting there at the basket. They're sitting on the fence. It'll get them over the edge and convert to sale. We also put at the bottom of every email we send, so as the widget goes to the bottom of your emails, displaying your score, and then every so often we download, of course, the best Trustpilot reviews, and we display them on social media just to spread the word that we're doing good and this is what other people are saying about us.
That's great. And definitely, you know, at many of those events, those are AB commerce events, is something I hear retailers speaking about all the time. When you go online, and what you're trying to do is to appeal to people outside of your geographic reach. So there are people who don't know about you, and they've come across you through some paid digital marketing, or they've come across you on social media. They've added something to their basket. They're just wondering, and it does lend itself to just giving that trust and that credibility, and that there's other consumers out there who've had that positive experience. So it can really help with your conversion rate and actually getting people through your checkout and completing the sale. And what do you think has been the impact on the online store since you activated it? Probably just increased conversion, or just lack of, you know, people probably not abandoning as much maybe? Oh
yeah, definitely positive. As you said there, no one has ever heard of Heavins. So they go on, they clicked on the paid ad for Heavins. No one, who's Heavins? So they don't know if we're good or bad, or it's just another simple website. So like, if they go on, they click to see the Trustpilot scores, they can click on any of the widgets there. It'll bring them into our Trustpilot business page. They can scroll to all the reviews. So they can see what over 2,000 other people are saying about us, that we're not a bad bunch, I suppose. But it also, to use the word again, trust. If someone's going to spend 500 or 1,000 euro on a garden furniture set, they're going to want to know that their money is going to be safe, that they're going to get what is expected when they order online. So that's what gets us, I suppose, cross line, increases the conversion rate, gets them to choose us over somebody else. And also, as they go down to reviews, they'll see that a lot of reviews mention speed. We try and get the orders out as quick as we can. And if they want the order in a hurry, they go down to reviews and they see that every second review mentions delivered quickly or got it quick, well packaged, then they're more likely going to go ahead with us as opposed to another person who doesn't have any reviews. The other thing I suppose that impacted is winning back that customer that you may have lost otherwise. So if a customer has a bad experience, nobody's perfect, I suppose. If a customer has a bad experience, and if you didn't have them reviews, you'd never know their customer had gone for good. So if you get a 1-star review or 2-star review or 3-star review, whatever, a low review, you have a chance to win that customer back. And Neil has there on one of his slides where we got a 2-star review, which was a damaged set. The email went astray and we never got back to the customer. Totally our fault. So the customer left 2-star review. So that was an opportunity for us to win the customer back. The customer was happy with our service and then updated their rating from a 2-star to a 4-star. So it wasn't full 5-star, but at least we got the customer back, and hopefully they'll shop with us again. I suppose another thing, we can keep an eye on different aspects of our business as well. So, for example, we had an area where our courier service had a bad driver, and this particular depot that this driver was working off, our parts just kept getting damaged. So anyway, we narrowed it down through reviews from that particular area that it was an actual individual driver who wasn't handling the parcels correctly and was just firing them over the fence into the customer's garden. So we got to find a problem like that.
That's great. They're the things that you wouldn't have had visibility on, as you say, you know, which is great. Yeah. And the opportunity to kind of recover those situations. And I've heard retailers talking about that as well. So it's brilliant. And it's great to be able to, because nobody is perfect and there will be challenges. So being able to recover that and that other people can see that you are proactive, that you can recover a situation and that you put your hands up, you know, I think all that just lends itself to your customer retention. And I think that's what's key really then to driving a solid, sustainable growth strategy as well, being able to retain those customers. So it's great. And just finally, maybe, you know, what has been the impact of it amongst your team internally? Are the internal team maybe aware of it? Does it influence their commitment to quality and customer service? Because obviously you're a business owner, that's going to be forefront in your mind, but it's not always forefront in the mind of maybe everybody within the organization. So how aware are they of it, and has there been changes to the way they perform and the way they interact?
Yeah, so I suppose a lot of people, as I mentioned, don't really see that how the trust score affects the staff, but it really is a morale booster. Like the team come in the morning, they open up the emails, they're excited because there's a few 5-star reviews there, and they personally mentioned some of the packers, because we sign all orders going out, so the packers have personally mentioned how well it's packed, and that gives the staff a real boost and keeps the level of customer service up. So like they can see how their actions of simply packing a parcel or packing it correctly, packing it well, they see how their actions directly impact the website and how well the website's doing. And you can, I suppose, you can boost your staff with other incentives, a whole lot, but that's very simple. All the staff are behind it. They're excited to get a 5-star review, like they're disappointed to get a 4-star. So they're full-time pushing to get 5-star reviews. And of course, the more 5-star reviews, the better they get, and that leads to more 5-star reviews against like a snowball effect.
Thank you, Paul. That was really interesting, and Orla for hosting that. My name's Neil Baton. I'm the I'm having problems now with my slides. Let's have a look. Here we go. So I'm Neil Baton. I'm the partner director at Trustpilot for UK, Ireland, and Australia, which keeps me busy. Trustpilot, we're an open review platform, and we power businesses to collect, manage, and showcase their reviews for products and services, and also different locations as well. So if you have got bricks and mortar stores, we can collect reviews for specific locations. So we're an open and neutral platform that's trusted by both businesses and consumers to provide honest opinions about their buying experiences. So we look to collect feedback from from consumers, and then that feedback into people like Heavins, and then they can, you know, analyze these reviews and then improve. And it could be early warning signals for a particular, like I say, road driver, or a particular product that might, you know, the manufacturer might not be to the highest standard. So really good feedback and ways you can really impact some processes and products for your business. We are pretty big. We are actually the 36th most visited site in Ireland, and this is an Alexa rank. So an Alexa is actually an Amazon company, and they rank your websites all in Ireland on their traffic. So we get the 36th most amount of traffic in Ireland. So I'm not just doing this for a boast. I'm doing this because this actually improves our domain authority. And what that means for businesses on trustpilot.ie, it means their company profile page that Paul mentioned a little earlier is very highly ranked. So when people are looking for your business or looking for your reputation, the reviews that have been left by consumers are really easy to find, and typically on things like Google and Yahoo and all those different search engines. So yeah, you're basically leveraging the Trustpilot domain authority for your own business, and so you'll start seeing your Trustpilot profile page in search engines, and I'll show a little bit about that in a second. We've got 120 million reviews on the platform, and we're just constantly growing. To Paul's point earlier, you know, we have that brand awareness in Ireland, and consumers, you know, trust Trustpilot. But consumers are losing trust in businesses. You know, I think A brand is now not what you tell your customers it is, it's what they tell you it is, and what it stands for. So that's done by delivering on great promises and building trust with their customers. So we're seeing a decline in trust from consumers. However, one thing that consumers do still trust is their peers and review platforms. So we look to other people that maybe have nothing to gain to ask them for their, we'll listen to their feedback on particular brands. So, the most trusted is our friends and families. And if it is Heavins and it's on the high street, that's fine. You're like, you need to go in there. They've got a great new outside furniture set. However, when it's online, your friends and family might not have actually had experience with that particular online retailer. So you need to look for elsewhere to get that feedback. And we trust, as consumers, review websites second only to our friends and family. So why is it so important? So if you have a bricks and mortar operation, there's sort of unconscious trust signals that we're picking up that are traditional, from actually shopping in a shop. And it could be these days a big long line of people outside because they need to queue now to get in to your store. That actually offers a trust signal. People are thinking, oh, other people are using this store. It's almost when you go back, you go past a restaurant and there's no one in there, you think there's straight away something wrong with that restaurant. And then when you do finally go in there, they put you in the window because it's that social proof element that people are using this restaurant or this store. So people queuing outside is an unconscious trust signal. Also, when you go into the store and people are actually browsing and you're picking stuff up, you can touch and feel stuff. You know that store's there. So if something is wrong with a product, you can bring it back. You don't actually get these trust signals online. So it's hard to replicate the trust that you've got in store online. And obviously one of those ways is actually collecting feedback from customers that have bought from you online. And with the increase in consumers now during the pandemic, you're going to get people that aren't familiar with your particular brand online. And so they look for those reviews to offer those trust signals, which will try and replicate some of the more unconscious trust signals that you get on your high street. So this is what's called the messy middle. There's actually a report out by Google fairly recently about customer journeys. And we all think as a business that it's a lovely customer journey. It's a nice sales funnel. We'll pop them in the top, and we're market to them, or they see us on Google and then they come to the website and buy. Unfortunately, it's not like that. It's a lot messier. And what people do, what the internet does allow us to do is actually compare lots of companies at one time. So if you're anything like me, I've probably got 5 or 6 tabs open and I'm looking at one particular company and another company, and it just does allow you to compare quite easily. So you need to stand out from the crowd, but also you need to be listening when they're talking. So what happens is with this messy middle, lots of consumers search for what's called a domain modifier. So if you're anything like me, you want the best football boots. So I'll be looking for best football boots, or I want to look for Heavin deals, or I want to look for the cheapest snowboard, or I want to look for lifestyle sports discount codes. So these are all actually not direct domain searches. They're actually what's called domain modifiers. And what that needs to do, what you need to do as a business is you need to make sure that you control what's coming up for those domain modifiers. So one very easy one that Trustpilot can help out with is Heavins reviews or Vaughan shoes reviews. So that particular domain modifier, people are searching for more and more because they want to understand, if you have got a discount code or if you have got a reputation. And what Trustpilot will do is, because of our domain authority, what I mentioned earlier, your profile page on our platform will probably be #1 because we just have so much Google juice. I keep using that word. I'm sure that's not a proper term, but you'll probably understand what I mean. So the Google juice that we've got allows your profile page on Trustpilot to be very highly placed. And what Google are now saying is this is the messy middle. So these are the sorts of search terms that consumers are looking for. And if they can't find your reputation, they'll just go and look for someone else and someone that their reputation they can find. So one thing that I probably suggest that you do today after this webinar, not quite now, is go and search for your domain name plus reviews, or can I trust Heavins, or is giffgaff any good? Those particular sort of reputational search terms will provoke something, and you want to control that. And with Trustpilot, you can control that. So here's a couple of domain modifiers for Heavins. So you put Heavins reviews in, the Trustpilot profile page, as you can see on the left-hand side, is top. And then, can I trust Heavins? You know, that's a resounding yes for me, because they've got over 2,000 reviews and it's a 4.9 rating. So for me, I can trust Heavins. So then, as Paul was saying, on site, you're getting those trust signals, but you need to get people to your site. And this is obviously halfway through that sales funnel, or at the top of the sales funnel, to get them to the website. And this sorts of search terms and these sort of responses allow you to do that. So basically, Heavins for Can I Trust Heavins is like pretty well covered in that sort of search term. But even with direct brand searches, just like Heavins, you'll start seeing your Trustpilot profile page. It won't be top, but it will certainly be on that front page. So here's some examples of how we do this. So Paul mentioned earlier, we have an automated solution with Magico, as when an order is placed, at a predetermined time, a review invite will be sent out to your customers. So we make it very, very easy. There's no logging in. We don't need to know who you are, because we already know who you are from the order details, and you'll be getting sent an invite. It's as easy as adding 1 to 5 reviews, 5 stars, sorry, and then leaving the review verbatim. So it'll take as long as how much information you want to share. And typically, it's the paradox of asking a very simple question. You actually get quite a lot of customer verbatim back. And this is the sort of review insight that will help improve your business or amplify what you're doing well. So the top one is actually Lifestyle Sports. They've been working there for a number of years. Now, as an Irish retailer, they wanted to actually dig more into the UK market. So they wanted to be like, look, actually, if you're a UK consumer, you can buy from us quite easily. It'll get delivered, you know, and these reviews show that. So they wanted to break into the UK market, and they've done that very successfully with Trustpilot. And then we've got our friend Donal from Vaughan Shoes, and there's one particular widget that we have. We have a number of different widgets of how you display the actual reviews. And then the bottom right is actually the product review integration that we have with Magico and AB Commerce as well. We also help with increased visibility in Google with regards to your Google ads. So we are one of a number of different review platforms that submit to Google seller ratings. So you'll see in some ads, on the one on the left, you know, the top one has the gold stars that you see. These are Trustpilot reviews feeding into that ad. And what it does, it makes the ad bigger, which is great, obviously. But it makes it's almost that magpie effect that people want to click on it because it's gold stars. And so what you'll see is an increase in the click-through rate for your Google ads. So you'll see an increase, and you'll get more value for your ad spend by having the reviews feeding into those ads. And then on the right-hand side is actually the Google Shopping. So our product reviews feed into the product listing ads on Google Shopping, again with those stars, makes them more clickable, allows that extra visibility in Google for organic listings and paid search. So we also we use our trust boxes that we use for product reviews are automatically marked up for rich snippets. So these are the stars that you're seeing here, but in your organic listings. And again, we've seen a 30% increase in the click-through rate with listings with rich snippets, stars essentially, against ones without. And then typically what Google will do is they think that you're more relevant and start moving you up the SEO rankings because your listing is being clicked on more than the one above it. So it will then start moving because you think you're more relevant. So we have good SEO benefits as well as the paid search in Google. So how to build trust? So deliver great experiences. So basically online, you only ever buy a promise online. You're not buying anything. You're buying a promise that Heavins is going to deliver that, you know, outside dining set to you at the time that they say they're going to do it, with the quality that they said that the article is, and they're going to keep your details safe. So with a promise, you need to have trust. And every time you keep a promise, that trust is sort of replicated in a 5-star review. So to deliver great experience and to build trust, you must set expectations. So especially in this time that we're living in at the moment, you know, supply chains might be different, delivery times might be longer, opening hours might be different. So it's very clear to set the expectation at the start. So what consumers are looking for is authenticity. They're not looking for perfection, but they want to set their expectations. So for instance, if your delivery times have gone from 2 days to a week, by setting that expectation at the start to say it is going to be a week, not going to provoke a negative review. That's going to provoke a positive review that you've communicated to them that it might be slightly longer because of the times that we live in now. But it's very key that you set the expectations rather than continue to say that it's 2 days and then it goes to a week. That's not fulfilling your promise, and that might then provoke a more negative review. But also talk to your customers through reviews. It's so important that you're talking to the customers. I couldn't think of anyone else I'd want to listen to than my customers. And talking to them via reviews, responding to reviews, you're building up that emotional relationships with your customers, which builds loyalty, which will get them back, coming back time and time again. And also share. So share those great experiences that customers are having with your business. Share them on social media like Paul is. Add them to your website, you know, put them in your brochures, make sure that they're feeding through to your Google listings as well. And some people, you know, the bigger brands are sharing that in their above the line advertising as well. So on TV, as Orla mentioned, you know, in UK and Ireland, we're seeing people leveraging their Trustpilot scores in their TV ads as well. And very important to respond to customers. So we recommend that you respond to all negative reviews because their review is almost a shout to say, hey, look, something went wrong. You know, we want to make this public because we want a response. So actually respond to reviews. Consumers are expecting a review response within 48 hours or at least 7 days as a minimum, but possibly within 48 hours if you can. And it's important that you try to rectify any issue that you might have. And Paul mentioned earlier, actually, by engaging with them via their review, it allowed your response to be known and be made public. So you're not burying your head in the sand. You're actually engaging with your customers. So if something does go wrong, on the off chance, you're going to try and rectify it. But it also allows you're starting to erode, build up that trust that might have eroded from that bad experience straight away, by responding to the customer. And as Paul rightly said earlier, they have the ability to then re-evaluate and then rescore you. So that score went up from a 2-star to a 4-star. These are really the customers that really become evangelists for your business and advocates, because there's something did go wrong because we're not perfect. And people aren't looking for perfection, they're looking for authenticity. And that's when you can actually build that round. And I'm sure that Sarah lady, that customer, will be coming back to Heavins as a customer in the future. So just 3 takeaways from today. One of them is display trust signals and social proof online to better attract new consumers to your online store. So there is a trust gap, especially as more consumers are now buying online and they might not know your business. There's a gap between the trust between the consumer and the business. Fill that with customer reviews. Engage with feedback you receive, both good and bad, to build emotional relationships with customers that drive loyalty. So you can even respond to positive reviews as well, and just thank them for a lovely review, and you want to amplify what you're doing well. And lastly, take actions based on feedback, so this can produce long-term benefits to your business, such as improving processes and customer experience stroke service, which is key at the moment, and it's king, especially in the world we live in. So yeah, 3 takeaways there. We really appreciate your time. Here's some contact details for Trustpilot and Magico and Heavins. So thank you for your time. If there's any questions, I think we've got a bit of time, Orla, have we, to answer any questions?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Neil. That's great. Seems really valuable information there for anybody considering service product views and why they should be using Trustpilot. So yeah, we have time there. So if there's any questions that anybody would like to ask of Neil, myself, or even Paul, you can pop them into there's a Q&A box there. You can share those. Sure, if there's anything coming through there, Ursula.
Not yet. So there's a little Q&A there at the bottom of your screens. So if anyone's any questions, maybe just type the question in there and we can put it to the panel. So we'll just leave that open for a moment.
Perfect. And obviously you have our contact details are on the screen there as well. If you'd like to reach out outside of the webinar and pop us an email or give us a call, we'd be happy to chat through with you. I'm sorry for abandoning you all of a sudden there in the middle of that. The start.
What happened? Someone pulled the plug out. Yeah,
someone pulled the plug out and plugged it back in. Yeah, the beauty of technology. Yeah, blip.
Doesn't look like there's any questions coming through there. So if people maybe want to
you've explained it all, Neil. You've explained it all. We've answered all the questions, but I'm sure there will be questions or things that people might like to chat about. So as I said, Neil can be contacted there. His email address is on screen, as is mine, and our contact details, and Paul's is there as well. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to help. So yeah, so I think that probably wraps us up for this afternoon. Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you so much, Paul, for your contribution as well. Really valuable, and hopefully it's been of value to everyone who's joined here today. Thanks so much, guys. Take care and have a good day.